born and raised in a family of talented mother and a father. A mother designer, dress designer, father was a geologist, and that gave me a very early start of appreciating what I do on paper, even as a child. I was drawing incessantly, like every kid. The difference was that kid got her drawing of snowdrop exhibited in the school, and then sent to international competition. That was remarkable, even though I didn't know what that meant at the time. The big change in my life came when my mom passed away very young. I was 5, and my new mother propelled my life to a whole different level. She gave me everything that made me who I am today. She sent me to the best school. She noticed that there is this eagerness to learn and to excel, and she literally made everything possible for me to be exposed to the most efficient education that I can ever get. Thanks to my mother, my second mom, I played the violin 15 years, then I went to the English language school while I learned 2-3 languages to perfection, and I fell in love with the English language. Then that continued into landscape architecture, where I continued the trend of designing for the public, designing for people who like to enjoy the environment. That was a natural development as well. Aside from my architectural career, with me starting to work in fashion field, and that was a very stellar path for a young designer. I won competitions for designing the uniform of the national airlines in Bulgaria. That was a very important step. After which I moved to Greece, and subsequently I went to New York. The transition from that country to another country was a learning process in which I must say I was sustained by my love of design, love of creation. And my moving to California was a natural development. California was a playground for my imagination. I fell in love with the ocean, I fell in love with the nature, and that increased my creativity. My own line, and working on sculpture simultaneously. The period in sculpture taught me that sculpture is a very solitary endeavor, and it teaches you to dig deeper in your appreciation of human emotion, how it gets expressed and how it looks in a static material, how you can achieve through your knowledge. My heart is in design. Design as an activity and as a creative process has this dynamic side to it, which brings out the best in you. It brings out intention to create something valuable for many people. It brings up the desire to create something so visually satisfying, and even more satisfying when you begin to use it. Designing as a discipline is so multifaceted, so encompassing different fields that sometimes it is impossible to describe it with one word, except It has one purpose and one meaning: to serve humanity. We have to go back to 2014, when it was a very different period of time, and I was, as I was working from my home office, it became sometimes boring, and I would take all my paperwork in a suitcase, take my MacBook, take my iPhone, tiny printer I had, portable, and go to the local Coffee Bean, which at that time was superb, very cozy, and they made the best cappuccino. So I'd go there, sit in the corner, do a lot of work. And the part I liked about this Coffee Bean was that it was close enough, everybody was relatively close to each other. There was a good energy, very good energy. When I'd go to the Coffee Bean, I have in one hand the briefcase with a lot of paperwork, in the other hand the laptop, the iPhone and the iPad, because I used all of them. And so very often I would drop the phone, more often than not. And a couple of times I lost it and forgot it, like everybody else. So that is when I came with the idea of making a product, a slim case that I can put to my shoulder for my MacBook. Slim, slender, not bulky. And lastly, the one device that I absolutely depend on had to be permanently with me, and I wanted to make something that I would be protected from the electromagnetic fields and from RFID. So this is how the idea slowly brewed in. For real, I do draw ideas on a napkin, then I put them on a computer in Adobe Illustrator, make a beautiful illustration, put description, specifications, send it to China. We go back and forth for quite a while, and finally they produce a sample which undergoes another metamorphosis in 2 or 3 times. And that is how we did the work for a couple of years, actually. And I was very fortunate to work